Hi everyone, hope you are doing well from wherever you're watching this channel, depending on your time zone. Now, Professor Harman Manyora has been doing political analysis on his official YouTube channel. And yesterday, the professor had a live show. I got time to listen to him. And during that show, the professor went on to give some remarks as far as the election is concerned, how Chepkati and the IBC officials conducted themselves at the Bomas of Kenya. So according to Professor Manyora, he said that if the system would have tried up to help Raila Odinga, that would be what could have caught him with a surprise. But helping William Samoei Ruto, it was an obvious thing. That one made me to start asking questions. And Manyora did not end there. Manyora went on to say that President Uhuru Kenyatta might have had a thought to help Raila Odinga through the system to make sure that Raila is getting it right. But the people that the president was using to make things work for Raila through the system might have gone to strike a deal with William Samoei Ruto, which definitely means they were betraying Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Amolo Odinga. And the reason why these people can do this, Manyora went on to say that maybe these people discovered that it is easy to deal with William Samoei Ruto, but the nature of Raila Amolo Odinga is not an easy man to deal with. That can be the reason why this guy decided to strike a deal with William Samoei Ruto. Secondly, Manyora went on to say that Raila might have failed to study Uhuru Kenyatta from the day one of the handshake. Because it's like Raila trusted President Uhuru Kenyatta so much, but he did not read the mood of the people around him and the president himself. That means to some extent, Uhuru Kenyatta, according to Manyora, might have played Raila Amolo Odinga somewhere. And that takes me back to the post by Embakasi East Member of Parliament, Bob Owino, what he said. And we had analyzed that. So on this partner today, we want to try and look on possibilities of deep state working in favor of William Samoei Ruto at expense of Raila Amolo Odinga. But before we go deep into that, I just wanted to listen to the professor himself shortly, about 3 minutes. Then after that, of course, we are going to give our comments on this.
That Uhuru would have done very easily using his own infrastructure, Kibicho and the Matiangis. So that tells me, other than the Uhuru personal initiative in Azimio, the so-called deep state did not play any role. Because let us assume the deep state was with Raila. In Bomas, when there was that fracas, they would have taken advantage of that, and the elections would have been announced today after plenary. And certainly the plenary would have gone the Raila way, most likely. So, even such a simple thing like that. So I don't see the hand of deep state. Whether that's a good thing or not, I would say it's a good thing, outright. I would not even hesitate. But if people had been hoping the deep state will help them, then I'm sorry for them, because then the deep state has disappointed them. Because I don't see the hand of deep state. Even the last day when Chepkati is announcing, if there was deep state, just that alone, we could have seen it. The deep state would have just moved in. Very simple. To say you can, just to do something, and then it will force Chepkati into a plenary the following day, which is today. And the plenary will have decided, and now they would have ruled on the basis of the majority, because the plenary decision.
Does that mean that all along the DP was right? You cannot steal his votes. There's nothing like deep state.
He was not right. He was not right.
Right, so because you've just said we haven't seen their hand. Does this mean that if there was deep state,
if the hand of the deep state was not there, it's not been seen, doesn't mean deep state cannot be there. It could be there on the other side.
Ruto side.
On the Ruto side. It's possible. This is politics. This is power. Those who don't know power, even I suspect Raila is one of those people who don't know how power works. Power is a strange animal. It has many heads, not one head. Power. If this guy saw that Ruto seems to be easier to deal with, and yet he seems to be the one winning, they do a deal with him. The people who will be depending on to support Raila from the system, they have already cut deals with Ruto. It's possible. This is power. I tell people, please take a minute to understand power. I'm a student of history. I'm not an historian, but a good student of history. I have seen what has happened in palaces, in kingdoms, in empires, how people cut deals to disinherit others, to remove others from the throne. Power is a difficult animal, and people always go where power is. So if people could see that this Ruto seems to be the one ahead, it's easier to do a deal with him. They just cut deals with him. Tell him who is expecting we shall assist Raila, but
That's power.
yes, power, and I would not be surprised, except you can't play games like those with Manyora. I would have seen them myself. I see. If I was Raila working with Ruto, with Uhuru, I would be studying every move from 2018. Every single move. I have a doubting brain. I never believe anything until it has happened.
You told me you have trust issues.
Yeah, that's and it works for me. I'm never surprised by anything. Nothing ever surprises me. In fact, what surprises me if things turn out right. If the system had tried out to help Raila, that's what would have surprised me. But what they have done, if they have done anything, doesn't surprise me. That's the kind of mind I have. I have a mind that questions everything. Sometimes I can be an irritant to people because I always question things, even to myself without sharing it. Because if I share with people the things I'm questioning. So if I was railaodinga, I would have watched Uhuru's side so keenly and put people to test, put certain things to test. By 2020, I would have known. I would have walked out of BBI and started my campaign.
You told me the problem was with the secretariat. I think several shows you've said if Raila loses, not Ruto winning, if he loses.
One of the reasons would be the secretariat. They never have organizing elections and campaign structures. I've talked to people who work there. People leave and you ask, why have you left? Oh, there's no order there. That may partly explain why the people who are supposed to fund the election perhaps didn't fund the election. Money where there's no order. Yeah, you need to be orderly. So people to fund your election, they need to see functional structures.
Now we are continuing with the final discussion, but just a quick request. You might be watching this channel, but you're not yet subscribed, so my humble request, please consider subscribe so that another time, once you release a video like this one, you will always get notified. Again, to all our channel subscribers and anyone who drop comment, I must say thank you so much for your unconditional support. Again, I'm requesting you to give this video a thumbs up so that YouTube can recommend our videos to more viewers. Back to our discussion. Now, the question we are asking here, is there possibilities that the deep state decided to work in the interest of William Samuel Ruto in this election? Is what Professor Manyora saying has some evidence in what we have seen as far as tallying of the vote and announcement has been made? These are the questions we want to answer here. And I'm waiting to read your comment as far as this question is concerned. And in my own view, there are things Manyora is saying which you can find it to be true. Because I want you to go back and check on how Mount Kenya has performed in this election. The percentages Chebukati gave as a turnout is not tallying with the number of what William Samuel Ruto has managed to gain in Mount Kenya region. He has gained more votes compared to the percentages Chebukati gave. That alone tells you that there is a possibility that some people engineered additional votes during the voting day or during the counting time at the polling station. That's a possibility. So that means there was someone who was working in the interest of William Samoei Ruto. I'm saying this because remember, Uhuru Kenyatta has worked with William Ruto in 2017, where it was evidently clear that there was possibilities that IBC officers were compromised to work in favor of President Uhuru Kenyatta and William Samoei Ruto. So that means Uhuru was aware of the game that was played during that time. And if he had an interest to help Raila Odinga in this election, number one, hata kama utake kuibia Raila kura umwekee, utajaribu tu kudhiba hiyo mianya yote ya mtu kufanya hii monkey business to overturn the will of the people, so that the vote council will be counted and announced, not adding figures in favor of someone and subtracting numbers from the other person. He could have tried to close those loopholes. But the president did not do that. He allowed the UDA side to play every manner of monkey business in the Mount Kenya region. That's why you see they're getting higher percentages. That's why you see there is the turnout was bigger than what Chebukati shared with the people. I'm seeing people are sharing results from Mount Kenya region, and you look at it and you see actually it was open that numbers was being added in favor of William Ruto. Look at what has transpired at the Bomas of Kenya. We have discussed about this. 4 commissioners who came out to complain. Why was Chebukati so much confidence with audacity to play a role as an individual, unilateral role, rather than involving other officials? Where did he get this audacity? Who was behind Chebukati? Is it the deep state? And do you mean the president was not aware of this? Uhuru was aware. But again, we can give him a benefit of doubt, a benefit of no doubt, because Manyora also has said that the president might had a plan to help Raila, but the people Uhuru Kenyatta used might have gone against his wish to strike a deal with William Ruto at the expense of railaodinga. That can be another possibility. You go against what the president has advised you or has requested you to do. So you get at the Bomas and you allow all the manner of things to happen. People were exchanging materials there on table. We could see files being exchanged on tables. We could see people harassing the IBC returning officers. There were guardians. There were guardians that were snaked from the IBC returning officers, and they were left helpless at the Bomas of Kenya. These videos have been shared on social media. If this was happening, and then there was a way to help Raila Odinga to stop such shenanigans, the president could have managed this. But Uhuru did not do that. So this alone make me to trust or believe or to buy into what Manyora is sharing here. So this thing could have just been working in favor of William Samoei Ruto, and yes, Uhuru can be aware. And again, in the same hand, in the other side, these people worked against the wish or the will of President Uhuru Kenyatta. So Ruto amesaidiwa to get this power. That is another possibility, beside campaigning and beside convincing people to vote for him. I don't want to think about what you think about this, but let us meet in the comment section to have a continuation of this conversation. You can reach out to me on 0795 95 80 63. That's WhatsApp. 0795 95 80 63. Thank you so much for listening to me up to this far. May good God bless you and see you in our next